QED tonight looks at the effects of freak weather.
This may look like a model, but it was filmed at B Sands in Devon. The houses and the waves are only too real.
QED investigates acts of God tonight at 9:35.
On BBC2 shortly, MASH, to be followed at 9:25 by a drama documentary unravelling for the first time the extraordinary story behind the plot to murder Lloyd-George. On BBC1 now, the 9 o'clock news with John Humphreys.
Ian MacGregor is moving to the coal board. A deal's been agreed. New evidence of killings in Zimbabwe. All that's left of the Penley lifeboat on show to an inquiry team. The happy family together again after a kidnap. And the happy family on top of the boxing world. Good evening. The government will appoint Ian MacGregor head of the coal board within the week. The only obstacle has been the so-called transfer fee, and that's now been agreed with his American employers and Mr. MacGregor himself. It'll be a controversial appointment opposed by the miners, the Labour Party, and even by some senior Conservative backbenchers, and it could lead to a repeat of the political row that erupted when Mr. MacGregor became British Steel chairman 3 years ago. That deal was worth up to £1.8 million to his American merchant bank. The new deal is for another £500,000 a year. Our industrial editor, Martin Aideney, has the details.
When Ian MacGregor came to the Steel Corporation, he inherited a business losing £2 million a day. Its workforce shattered by a disastrous strike, its management demoralised. In a year, the losses had been halved, productivity records set, and management regained confidence as MacGregor showed himself prepared to go all over the world for orders. One price was big losses of jobs. Cuts had been agreed before MacGregor took over, but they've continued. From 150,000, the workforce is now down to 85,000 and falling. But he's mostly resisted closing huge plants, establishing instead what he called an Alamein line at just over 14 million tonnes capacity. Early last year, BSC was breaking even, but then came the big slump in world demand. Reluctantly, MacGregor decided to close Ravenscraig in the pretty certain knowledge the government would step in. Now, as he prepares to leave, the furnaces are picking up again with orders. Well, the details are settled. It's now only a question of a suitable time to make the announcement. What isn't clear is who'll replace MacGregor at Steel. The government's clearly reluctant to appoint his number two, Mr. Bob Scully, and is still looking for someone else. It was MacGregor's idea originally that he should run coal. A year ago, he suggested he should run both steel and coal in tandem. Whitehall wasn't convinced. Now it's Mrs Thatcher who's insisting on the appointment. She called him recently a very distinguished Scotsman who's done very well for the United States coal industry. That's a reference to MacGregor's time as president of the American mining company Amex. It wasn't in coal when he took over. It mined other things like lead, but he bought 10 coal mines and turned it into America's third biggest coal producer, with some highly productive mines. His first job clearly will be to come to terms with the people in the mining industry here, and Arthur Scargill's reaction won't make it easier.
I don't care whether it's Norman Siddall with his surgical skill or Ian MacGregor with his butcher's axe. The plan of this government is to destroy this industry.
Now, in the wake of Mr. Scargill's lost ballot vote, Mr. MacGregor's job is to spend less on propping up old pits and more on big modern collieries. It's a new challenge for a man who's said he has a respect and liking for miners and sees coal as an industry of the future.
First reaction from the Miners' Union came tonight from Executive Member Trevor Bell, regarded as a moderate. Mr. Bell said it goes against the grain. We're appalled, he said, that a man of 70 should get the job when we're fighting for a retirement age of 55. There's new evidence from Zimbabwe about the scale of killings in Matabeleland. Government troops have been accused of indiscriminate murders in their search for dissidents opposed to Mr. Mugabe's government. Matabeleland is the home of the now exiled opposition leader Joshua Nkomo. It was a month ago that troops of the North Korean-trained 5th Brigade moved into the area, closing off most of it to follow.